If you're thinking about buying Bitcoin miners in 2026, one of the biggest decisions you'll make is, should I buy an air-cooled crypto miner or should I buy a hydro miner? Hydro miners have been getting a lot of attention lately. They are powerful, efficient, profitable machines, but there are some downsides you need to know about. Today, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of each, including real profitability numbers. Stick around because we'll be giving away a free TANGEM wallet to safely store your crypto in this video. Let's start with air-cooled miners. Air-cooled miners are the classic setup most people know. Think of the Bitmain Antminer S21XP or the Antminer L9. They use high-speed fans to push air across your magic internet money machines, hashboards, and heat sinks to dissipate the heat. Let's talk about the pros and cons of air-cooled crypto miners. First of all, they have lower upfront infrastructure costs because they can be run on standard 240-volt outlets, kind of like the one your clothes dryer takes at home. You don't need any special cooling systems or extra plumbing, which can add extra costs and headaches. They are easier and faster to deploy. If you've been watching my channel at all, you know I've run many air-cooled miners at home in my own garage over the years with easy to install silencer kits. Air-cooled units are great for small to medium farms where noise and heat removal isn't a big issue. They are widely available on the used market, and air-cooled ASICs are a tried and true design that has been around for a very long time. Maintenance is simpler. Mostly it consists of cleaning the units, occasionally replacing a fan, repasting the chips every once in a while, and maybe a power supply replacement here and there. Now it's time for the cons of the air-cooled units. They are very noisy. Usually they run around 80 decibels or even louder if you have multiple units in the same location. It's kind of like running a shop vac or a leaf blower or like a blender 24/7 on high. We're talking about a high-pitched whine that you don't want to deal with near your living space. Air-cooled units are harder to pack densely. So if you run multiple units, you need more space and better airflow to deal with all the heat. Performance drops and damage can occur in hot climates and poorly ventilated rooms. And even worse, people think they're safe in colder climates, but during the winter months, if your unit shuts down unexpectedly, the rapid change in temperature from hot to cold or cold to hot can cause even worse damage. You'll pay higher electricity costs per terahash because they just aren't as efficient as hydro miners. What's the alternative? What are hydro-cooled miners? Hydro-cooled miners are the high-performance option in 2026. Popular models include the 495 terahash Bitmain Antminer S21J XP at 12 joules per terahash, or the Antminer S23 Hydro with a mind-blowing 580 terahash at an extremely efficient 9.5 joules per terahash. Both are very impressive and profitable Bitcoin miners. Instead of fans, they used closed-loop liquid cooling with massive radiators and large efficient fans, and it cools fluid down before it is sent back into the unit. So let's go over some of the pros and cons of these hydro crypto miners. One of the biggest pros of hydro miners is far better efficiency. And as you know, better efficiency means increased profitability, which means increased amount of money for you. For example, let's compare the popular Bitmain S21 series of Bitcoin miners, and we'll talk about the air-cooled version versus a similar or comparable hydro unit. The air-cooled S21 XP has a hash rate of 270 terahash while consuming around 3,600 watts of power, resulting in an energy efficiency of 13.5 joules per terahash. Currently, the S21 XP at a hosted rate of around 8 cents mines $8.80 worth of Bitcoin per day. And after paying electricity, your profit on that unit is $1.80 per day. Now let's compare the air-cooled S21 XP to the S21J XP hydro unit. So now we're talking about a hash rate of 495 terahash while consuming around 6,000 watts of power, and that results in an energy efficiency of 12 joules per terahash. This Bitcoin mining beast is currently raking in over $16 in Bitcoin per day, and after electricity at an 8-cent rate, your profit is around $4.70 per day. In addition to being more profitable, hydro miners are much quieter. They mainly use coolant pumps, radiators, and large, relatively quiet fans instead of those screaming high RPM fans in the air-cooled units. With hydro miners, you get higher density, which equates to way more hash rate per square foot. Other benefits include better temperature stability in hot and cold climates, and that can potentially lead to longer hardware life. This last pro is a big deal, especially when you get to larger farms, and it's becoming a popular way for businesses to save money on heating bills. So with hydro miners, waste heat can be recovered for many different purposes, like water heaters, greenhouses, heating an office building, or even your own home. I've seen companies that help homeowners reuse the heat to keep driveways from icing over in the winter. The possibilities are endless when it comes to repurposing heat from these hydro units. Now let's talk about the cons of hydro. With hydro, expect a much higher initial setup cost and learning curve, especially if you want to do this yourself. You need the proper infrastructure like tanks, pumps, the fluid, heat exchangers, plumbing, three-phase power, and three-phase power alone is far more difficult and far different than your typical 240 volt home outlet like for your dryer. This is not something you just easily set up and run at a typical home. It requires massive upgrades and might be unobtainable for most. You'll have to deal with more complex maintenance and risk of leaks. Though modern systems are very reliable, leaks can still happen. Hydro requires specialized knowledge and infrastructure, and it's definitely not ideal for home or small scale miners. One more con I wanted to mention, and it's funny because the pro of the hydro miners is you have such a large amount of hash rate and density, but it can also be a con sometimes because say this hydro unit goes down and you spent this much money on it, you need these to run to get your ROI back. So 580 terahash down all at once is a bummer when you could get like almost 4 Bitmain S21 XPs for around the same cost of the S23. And say one of these goes down, you still have the other 3 hashing. So you have still like 800 terahash running even if you had one of these down. So it might be less profitable, but it is a little riskier if this goes down and there's a major problem with it and needs to be repaired. That is an issue. So the density is an asset to the hydro miner, but it also could be a con if things go wrong. Now, most, if not all of these cons can be avoided if you simply host your machines. That goes for both air-cooled and hydro machines alike. I personally have 4 Bitmain Antminer L9 script miners hosted at Terra Hosting. I'm currently running them on PowerPool and getting paid out every day in Bitcoin. Terra Hosting currently has open hydro hosting spots, but I just talked to the team last night and they are filling up pretty fast. So if you're interested in the exact miners that I've been talking about in today's video, they currently have them listed on their brand new marketplace. For example, right now you can order the Bitmain S21J XP Hydro unit or the massively impressive 580 terahash monster, the Bitmain S23 Hydro. If you order your machine from Terra and set up hosting with them, they make it easy and handle everything. If you're interested in reaching out to them, use the link in the description, fill out the form, make sure you tell them Greater Good Mining sent you. Also, if you're interested in trying out PowerPool, the link's in the description. Now let's get back to more pros and cons, and don't forget about that TANGEM Wallet giveaway. I'll give instructions towards the end of the video on how you could win. Here's a few things people might not think about when deciding between hydro and air-cooled units. How easy is it to sell an air-cooled or hydro unit? This is a huge factor many people overlook because air-cooled miners are much easier to sell if you're selling them yourself on the open market like eBay or Facebook Marketplace. There's a larger buyer pool of home miners, small farms, equipment flippers. They're more plug and play compared to hydro, and there's no special coolant system needed compared to hydro. They're easier to ship and tend to have a stronger resale value in most market conditions. Hydro and immersion miners are much harder to sell. There is a much smaller buyer pool. Buyers have to build or buy special equipment to install the hydro units like the Bitmain Ant Rack, and that adds additional cost and complexity. You often have to sell the whole system like tanks and fluid and pumps, and in general, it will just usually take you longer to find a buyer. Once again, another benefit of being a client of Terra Hosting is that you can list units for sale in their newly updated marketplace. So if you're trying to sell a unit that's difficult to sell, they make it easier. You can just request to list your hosted unit, name your price, and Terra will create a custom listing for you. And these machines are available for other current Terra clients to purchase for hosting. For example, I currently have a few KS5 Pros available on their marketplace as we speak. Okay, now let's do that TANGEM wallet giveaway. All you have to do is like the video and comment #TANGEM and let me know what you're currently mining. And if you truly like the video, do me a favor, share it with a friend, consider subscribing to the channel. This giveaway is for US residents only. I will use a random comment picker about a week from now, and I will reply to the winning comment with further instructions. So if you're interested in purchasing a TANGEM wallet to store your Bitcoin, Casper, or hundreds and hundreds of other cryptocurrencies, use my exclusive discount code GREATERGOOD or the link in the description for at least 10% off your order. TANGEM runs deals all the time and is currently offering $20 in BTC back in addition to my 10% discount. With Bitcoin chopping around at $65,000 and the network hash rate around 900 exahash, Only the most efficient machines stay consistently profitable at average electricity rates. Bitcoin hydro miners are in high demand among professional farms because of superior efficiency, density, and longevity. Big operators are actively upgrading or building new hydro facilities with models like the Antminer S21JXP and S23 Hydro series because they are leading the profitability charts. However, air-cooled units remain the practical choice for smaller operators who want to mine at home or anyone who values simplicity and resale flexibility. So which would you choose? Nothing I say is ever financial advice, and you definitely need to do your own research before investing a large amount of money into crypto mining gear. But here's what I would do if it was me. I'd recommend air-cooled units if you are starting small, like mining at home, in a shed or a garage. And if you want simplicity, a lower initial capital expenditure, or plan to resell the units soonish. Air-cooled is a smart way to go if that kind of fits what you're looking to do. I would say choose hydro if you're willing to commit a lot of time and money into learning how to build the proper infrastructure and have access to cheap three-phase power. It's hard to beat hydro when it comes to density, efficiency, and strategic heat reuse for your home or business, but it is difficult to do all of those things. And you can, of course, avoid the cons of both air-cooled and hydro units by simply letting a trusted hosting company like Terra Hosting manage all the infrastructure and maintenance headaches. That's what I do. At 8 cents per kilowatt hour, hydro clearly wins on pure profitability and scalability for Bitcoin. And if you're hosting the units, you automatically bypass the barriers to entry that I talked about in this video. So what do you think after watching this video? Are you team air-cool or are you team hydro? If you found the video helpful, do me a favor, use the links in the description for Terra Hosting, PowerPool, and Tangem to help support the channel so I can keep making content like this for you. And be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and last but not least, don't forget to keep it decentralized for the greater good. The greater good.